We craft our boards with waterproof, 100% recyclable, American-made foam. About to get underway in San Diego as we take a look at our starting lineups. Mike Petrie first up for the Legion, brought to you by Kings and Convicts.
As we mentioned, lots of changes in this Legion lineup, and 5 of them are in the forwards. Only Green, Grant, and Tamalau return as starters. Sylvia, Klein, and Franklin were all on the bench last week, and Pryor and Afumia joined them this week in the engine room. 3 changes in the back line with Higgins, Henderson, and Frere all getting a start, but they keep the core of the line together with an unchanged midfield in Nonu and Brockie to keep stability in the group.
So again, those are your starters for Danny Lee. You take a look at who he has on the bench. You mentioned the changes. It's not that he's burying starters from last week, but he's giving them the day off. 7 starters from last week will not appear in today's match as you see the reserves for the home side. And of course, we take a look at the visitors from Chicago. It's their first time to play back-to-back road games in their young tenure in Major League Rugby. Starting 15 brought to you by IBJI.
One new addition in the pack for Chicago today after the loss to the Eastern Conference leaders New England last week. University of Notre Dame grad Mike Matarazzo starts, which slides his second row partner Cullen across into the 5 jersey, and Luke White, usually at lock, but starts at number 8 for the first time this season. One change in the back line. University of Alabama flyer Caleb Strum starts on the wing in place of the injured Dominguez. They go with consistency here in the hopes of getting this back line to find its rhythm and start firing on all cylinders.
So Sam Harris, first-year head coach, comes over from Austin with a lot of familiar names, including some of the men he has available on the bench today. As you just mentioned, Julian Dominguez continues to be out after being lost early in that match last week. Luke Beecham also unavailable, as Chicago set to take on the Legion here. And today's match officials brought to you by RugbyNow.com, headed up by Cam Stone, along with assistant referees Marquise Goodwin, Alexi Alfaro, and Derek Summers is our television match official, our TMO. So we will be throughout the match hearing the voices of our match official Cam Stone, as well as Derek Summers intervening at times if he spots something that our officials on the pitch might overlook. Underway in San Diego. And Mike, it is hard to believe we're already 2 months into this campaign. Just 2 months ago, it was Snapdragon Stadium with close to 12,000 strong, shattering the old MLR attendance record. They have lived up to those expectations, including last week's win on the road in Tukwila against those Seawolves. A lot of bumps and bruises in that physical matchup in the Pacific Northwest. So as we mentioned, Danny Lee, quite a few changes. How will that affect the chemistry? As Shiloh Klein with the early carry, the Sacramento hooker. Oh, who am I to question chemistry? Things are flowing here in the 619. But in the end, Chicago able to put a halt as failure to release on the Legion.
Talk about chemistry, but look at that. Pass goes a little bit behind. That continuity just wasn't quite there, but the skill set was. That was Franklin with that little flick back to that next layer, which was Brockie coming around that corner. They make the break, but get a little bit isolated. Well done by Chicago to turn them over.
Take a look at our conditions. Pretty ideal, especially after a few weeks ago we were playing in freezing conditions around the league, it seemed like. 61 degrees, they will take that here with a little bit of wind as we noticed during the warm-ups.
Everything about San Diego, I think weather-wise, is ideal. It's just a beautiful place to play. I mean, look at that stadium. It's incredible. The surface looks amazing. The weather there is generally really, really good. It's just a great place to play rugby.
So Chicago with a chance to strike first, after they saw a late lead evaporate against the Free Jacks over on the East Coast.
Leave it there, you two.
And it's Sean Yakubian who has the keys to this car for a second straight week for Chicago. Back to the veteran and Luke White. It's a Hounds team. When you talk about the ingredients, so much talent. It's just a question when the whole recipe will actually come together for Sam Harris and company. Can they take advantage of a San Diego side that believes they can rest players this weekend? As Mike Matarazzo, the pride of Staten Island, former All-American at Notre Dame. Their support out on the perimeter. but unable to free it up quickly there from Roach, and a chance here, and a foot race the other way. Meeks will preserve the Hounds.
Leave the ball!
Defensive effort to keep San Diego off the board a little bit longer.
No, I could use it.
Billy Meeks able to track that one down. Some nervy moments there.
Use it!
Instruction from Cam Stone to put this ball to use. We'll see if they put a boot to ball. They do, into touch. As we take a look at your keys to the match, Mike Petrie.
So for San Diego, they're going to want to blitz hard off that defensive line, and they have to dominate the set piece. Chicago has a strong midfield. They got to get up in the face of Billy Meeks and Bryce Campbell. On the other side, for Chicago, they got to get back to basics. They talked about that in practice this week. They have to do the little things right. They didn't do it on their first series there. You saw that pass that went to ground and ended up pushing them backfield. And then they have to slow down this San Diego offense, get in over the ball, slow them down.
They find Dan Pryor on the line out, the former All Black. Nice 6'3" target on the set piece.
Now here for San Diego. See what they do with it.
See if they put boot to ball with a crossfield kick. They'll keep it on the ground here with your captain for the day, Brahe, looking for the edge, and it's Mikey Teo doing what Mikey Teo does. He wins the race to the corner. And the Legion first on the board with the opening 5.
Opening 5 within 5 minutes. That is a good start for San Diego, and as we mentioned, this is a team that's putting up 30 points a game, and they're showing why right now, just making it look easy. That over-the-top pass, just lots of space in front of Mikey Teo. They had the advantage on. They thought about maybe putting that kick in, like you said, but there's just space everywhere. And if you look at that, that's JP Eloff who bit down from the outside for Chicago, left Teo open. They went over his head. The outside wings and the outside players, in JP Eloff's case that time, when you make that decision to bite down and come off your line hard, you got to really try to stop that play in its tracks. Instead, they go right over his head, and Teo just walks in for the score.
It's Josh Henderson with the 10 on his back.
And you had a lifting leg there.
The 25-year-old from Scotland who will try to tack on another 2 points here. Mikey Teo back for his second go-round with San Diego. The kid from Long Beach with his 3rd try here in 2023. Henderson. This one steered just wide left as the flags will stay down, but it's San Diego with the first 5 here at Snapdragon. Well, no surprise when we take a look at the betting lines from our friends at SIS. The team that leads Major League Rugby back at home, they're your favorites here today.
Not much of a betting guy, Lincoln, but to be honest, when I see the minus sign, I know that that means that that team is favored. Let's just keep it at that for now, but San Diego definitely favored in this one.
And after the score, the kickoff back over to San Diego. That's Tavita Tamalau. Been on this roster since the pandemic in 2020.
Race now, guys.
Legion in their trademark red and blue, but it's a slightly different look. These are your city kits that are debuting this year in Major League Rugby. That's a tough one to handle for JP Eloff, but the former NOLA Goldman able to corral it as they send it skyward off the foot of Matina.
2, you never got outside the 10, offside.
You see the offside ruling from Cam Stone, denying the possession there for Chicago.
10, please.
And that's Hugh Roach, who just didn't retreat off the kick, expecting a bit of kick exchange. And sometimes if you're a forward, you just kind of want to linger in that in-between space. You don't really want to work back and forth, reserve some of that energy for later in the game. But when Matina puts that kick up, he still has to retreat a little bit. Our referee that time, Stone, was not happy with the amount of retreating or the effort he made to retreat in that situation.
Lincoln Rose, Mike Petrie, and for the first time today, a chance to check down on the pitch with the 3rd member of our crew, the Olympian, Ilona Marr. Ilona?
Hi everyone, I'm here at Snapdragon Stadium, and it's kind of confusing. This is called Sunny San Diego, but I think we need to change that after this season. So here we have the San Diego Legion taking on the Chicago Hounds. Now, the Legion last weekend beat Seattle in a great game, which puts them at the top of the league. The Chicago Hounds, a new team, they're still connecting, they're still finding the rhythm. I'm excited to see what this game could lead to if they can get the momentum and really figure themselves out. So back to you guys.
Yeah, look forward to hearing from you throughout the match. Again, she has a great vantage point down there after representing the United States in Tokyo. And the Legion not happy with just a 5-point lead early on. Now 7 meters out.
Good. Hold here. No. Clear it. Stay up. Well done.
Back over to Chicago.
Use that 9.
As they stay within a single strike right now. Mark O'Keefe battling out of the shadows of their own posts.
Use it.
Yakubian. Again, boot to ball towards the touchline, but he'll stay in play. Outside the 22. In for a closer look, your vice captain, Nate Augsburger. He is an MLR original now here in his 6th season.
Yeah, Billy.
Legion looking to keep Chicago on their heels. Here's Ma'a Nonu.
Gone forward and touch, you got options. It's been touched, mate.
Nonu with those 2 Rugby World Cup titles already on his resume. Over 100 caps with the Kiwis.
Yeah, but make that cool. Scrum. Come here. Lost forward.
As we set this scrum up, I want to go back and take a look at the moment that set up this turnover. Right before this, Chicago was playing defense. They looked to be under a little bit of pressure, but then immediately seized the opportunity to get in there, slow that ruck down. We talk about that early in the game, how important that's going to be against San Diego today. And they just made a total mess of that breakdown situation and were able to get themselves a turnover here. Really well done by the Chicago Hounds defense in that situation.
So Chicago here with the ensuing scrum as they wait for Yakubian to feed it. Yakubian faced his former team last weekend. Spent the last 2 years with the New England Free Jacks before being traded to the expansion side Chicago this year. They'll get one more bite at the apple here on the scrum. Again, just the 1 scrum reset. Sam Harris opting to go up to the booth today. Have that overhead look with his first-year coaching staff. What a job Sam did in Austin. Basically, Austin had played 30 matches before he ever arrived. They had 4 wins to show for it, and then in his 30 matches as head coach, 21 victories.
It's impressive stuff, and I'm sure people in Chicago were really excited when he showed up. And probably the expectations for the Hounds were very high. On paper, they're a good team. We've talked about that a lot. You've got Sam Harris, who's been a successful coach in Major League Rugby. But remember, this is a tough league. I mean, look at the Jackals. It took them a 1.5 years to get their first win, and the Hounds are also struggling a little bit too.
Chicago just trailing by 5, despite being pinned back a couple of times early on. Tackle made by Brahe, who played for Harris in Austin last year before coming over to the Legion. He's wearing the captain's armband today with, again, 7 starters completely out of the lineup from last week's physical victory on the road against Seattle. Yakubian a little hesitation, able to find Luke White wearing the 8 on his back here today. A quick offload by the tight head prop, Charlie Abel. Looking for some gaps, have the support. JP Eloff weaving through traffic, and it's Mark O'Keefe finally tracked down just shy. 7 meters out for Chicago, looking for the equalizer.
Leave it! Never on your feet.
Oh, and are they eyeing a full 7 points here to take a lead if they can split those sticks? Yakubian assessing the scenario. White will keep it.
No, Dan!
As he frees it up for his scrum half. Hugh Roach. Nice job by the Legion, arriving with 2 tacklers at a time. These are the toughest meters. Billy Meeks gets them 6 meters out.
Hold here. No. Advantage offside.
And now playing with advantage. Chicago with house money to work with. Yakubian will offload it. There's daylight. And ball spills loose. This will come back. Still playing with advantage. And let's see if there's not a souvenir about to be handed out from Cam Stone as well.
Yeah, I am. Hold on, yeah, there was. So you got advantage offside here. Right here? Yep. So if there's nothing from this, I'm not going to look to check there's not an early tackle. If there was, then there's potentially a try. We just need to check that. Otherwise, I'm coming back, hold my mark. Derek, PMO, got a penalty playing advantage for offside from Black here. Narkis has got the mark. I need to check this interaction here. White has lost the ball, but I need to check and confirm whether there was an early tackle that created that loss in possession, and then what may have eventuated from that.
Yeah, looking at it now.
Our referee Cam Stone asking for support from our TMO Derek Summers. You look into his studio.
Cam, too close to call. Too close to call. Stick with your on-field decision.
So good timing. So we're going back to the penalty here.
Correct.
For the offside. So there's nothing in that because it's good timing. Going back to the penalty. So there's nothing in it. It's simultaneous. We're coming back for offside here.
And that's what led to the advantage that Chicago had been playing.
That's a nice job by our officiating crew that time. You see Matina taking some heat. Chicago had an advantage on here for the offside penalty. Jakubian there puts that pass in to Matarazzo out the back door, and that's where we thought that maybe you could see some of the Hounds players hands up in the air, thought there might have been some early contact before the pass was completed. But well done by our refereeing team, especially our TMO Derek Summers, to say not ready for that one. Can't quite step into the book for a card, but let's give that penalty to Chicago. Give them another shot at this.
Can Chicago execute, get that maul assembled and drive 5 meters for the tying score? Maul has formed. Legion will try to hold their ground and hold their lead.
Come up. That's 1-9.
It's Dakota Worth right now with that ball under his wing. They extend for the line, still short. Jakubian will free it up. He has options. Billy Meeks has us level in San Diego. Oh, some tough sledding for the Hounds, but they come through.
You can't think, just put your hands on it, you're on the ground.
Well-earned try by the Hounds that time. Lots of phases. Took 9 minutes for them to respond after that first score from San Diego, but these last 9 minutes have been all Chicago. Some electric movement from the back line, move them upfield to get them into this position, and then the forwards just go to work. They go to work in the maul here. They come up a little bit short, and then they come down this short side. Meeks comes up and finishes that. That was San Diego coming up hard up the outside, trying to stop that play and hit Meeks early. It's a missed tackle by the Legion at the goal line, and then Meeks is able to slide through for the try.
Sam Harris looks on as his two-time All-MLR and former champion back in 2021 in this league, Billy Meeks, has us level. And it'll be Chris Matina with a chance to give Chicago the lead. They needed a quick response to that deficit set by San Diego. Well, a reminder, it seems like these weeks get busier and busier in Major League Rugby, so if you can't catch every match live, you can always go back and watch them on the Rugby Network. Great to have those of you tuning in on the Rugby Network here today as well. As a reminder, it's a free service over at therugbynetwork.com. I'll find additional programming during the week as well. I don't want to show favoritism, but I would welcome one of those shirts.
They're pretty sharp looking, aren't they? I mean, look, I'm still biased. I thought those Houston ones last night were really cool. They glowed in the dark. They had an astronaut on the back. They were cool, but these San Diego ones, they are fresh looking too.
Looking for a little space. The Hounds are going to be showing off, of course, their highly anticipated city jerseys as well. Soon enough, a little tribute to the Chicago Bulls. Freire will send this one back. Squeezed in, no problem by Jakubian. A lower drive.
Well done.
We'll send this one inside the red zone as we exchange boots here, this time from Josh Henderson. Henderson, who arrived to San Diego late last season, getting in his first full season this year, was actually your MLR Player of the Week in that win against Utah in the season opener. Well, San Diego knows they are in for a fight. The rest of us can talk about where these two teams sit in the table, but they are slated to play a full 80 minutes today against a Hounds team that has come up just empty-handed on several occasions.
6 and 2 inside the 10. You must get outside that 10 where the ball's caught from.
That's frustrating for Chicago. That's the second penalty
I heard 2 as well.
of the same nature that's been called for not retreating on the kick exchange. We've seen quite a few of them. Matina's put up 2 really good kicks for Chicago out of their backfield, but both times our referee, Cam Stone, not happy with the retreat effort made by the boys in white in that engine room. They gotta hustle back. They gotta get out of that area.
Taking some notes.
Go, Bulls, here, guys.
Some things that will be addressed at halftime. Again, they dial up Dan Pryor on the lineout. Henderson. Well done. Off to the races. 2 men to beat. And it's an automatic 7 from Nate Augsburger. He knows the way.
Yep. Cam, check.
What a run that time by Nate Augsburger. We looked at his numbers before the game, and he was just racking up running meters, and that time just making defenders miss. But we're going to take a look here, possibly looking at some obstruction maybe. Let's see let's listen in.
So I've got an obstruction at midfield. 6 red gets in front of a player, creates a gap. Try scorer runs through it. Cancel your try.
Is that from? Okay, so just
Afamia there with a 6 on his back.
Correct.
That's the moment.
Okay, did you hear that? 6 red.
And there's a reason why there's another 20 meters to be gained there.
Clear as day, that one for sure. When you're running in there and you make contact like that, you're entitled to your line. Afamia that time runs his line, but belts into the Chicago defensive player.
Just where can you see where I am?
Yeah, right where you are. That's good.
6 red and obstruction. Obstruction.
I like the logistics Major League Rugby has with their TMO operation. So many leagues, it is our match official who then is called over to a monitor. But Derek Summers can see that live. He can quickly review it. He can help out our match official. And the way that is administered so efficiently, it keeps this match flowing.
It does, and that was really well done by our officiating crew. And Derek Summers on the spot that time knew without question what he was looking for. When you see a big break like that and a gap open up, and runners going through and players going out the back in terms of that pass, you got to be looking a little bit more closely at obstruction, and Derek Summers did a great job that time to pick up on it.
Into Luke White, as Yakubi and Demeeks. That's Bryce Campbell with a 13 on his back, the captain for Chicago. Second straight week that Chicago's opponents have had a try called back after a TMO review. Now Chicago then surrendered a try on the next play just about for New England after a couple phases. Let's see if they can instead capitalize and find a lead. Both teams with 1 try, both missed on the conversion. As we are level, 5 points apiece.
Balance and height, guys.
Houston right now is a point better in the West by virtue of playing their match yesterday. San Diego with a win would move back into pole position in Major League Rugby. Boy, what a battle in the Western Conference. Chicago, if they could do it over again, may have asked to be a part of the East in their inaugural campaign.
They've had a rough go these past couple weeks, Chicago. We talked a lot about their record being 1-6 in the bottom of the table and everything else, but they faced off against Seattle, Houston, and New England the past 3 weeks. That's a rough three-week stretch.
We're going to look back at yesterday's action coming up at halftime, but Utah does not want to be left out of the conversation in the West, as they made their presence felt against Seattle as well. As see this most recent boot from Henderson, and it'll set up the lineup.
And that time, great kick by Henderson, just beyond the reach there of Caleb Strum, who jumps up to try to, I think, flick it back in. Doesn't quite get the hand on it that he wants to redirect it and stay in bounds. And this time we end up with a big turnaround. That's a San Diego Legion lineout inside the 22.
Strum is in for Dominguez, who was hurt early against New England last weekend. And it allows San Diego to gain this real estate until the takeaway by Chicago. Well done.
Counteract. Counteract. Water break. 1 minute. Water break.
We've reached the midway point of the opening half. Chicago holding their own, looking to upset the Legion on their home turf here in the 619.
Shepard gets off the line. He's caused a fumble. Now the crowd are going to cheer this on. Advantage being played. Wisely keeping it alive is Noah Reed. In full stride is the scrum half. Brody, he's looking for help. He gets it to Deshaun Bowen out wide. Has he got the gas to go for the corner? His first touch is a Toronto error. Deshaun Bowen gets the...
That's what you call home field advantage.
San Diego's a fun place to play. That cohort's been there since the beginning. It's just cool. Like, they have the cannons. They have these people sitting in the front row. The energy in San Diego and the vibe and the culture of their rugby community is just so cool. I used to love playing in San Diego. It's a beautiful part of the country. They have a great following. And that Legion cohort, man, they add so much fun to this arena.
True.
Just when the folks operating the metal detectors at the entrance thought they were going to have an easy day, in come the cohorts. Sir, we're going to have to ask you to put that through the scanner.
Hold on.
Lincoln Rose, Mike Pentry, along with Ilona Marr down on the pitch. We are level, one try apiece here through the opening 20 minutes. Just wrapped up our first half hydration break. If you haven't watched Chicago this year, you might be surprised, but they have been playing tight for the first 50 minutes, really, of every match. It's just trying to close these things out. If rugby was just 50 minutes, 1-6 Chicago would be 4-3 and one of the better teams in the West. It's the final half hour they have truly struggled. And as you see there on your screen. Now, of course, when they hosted Seattle, they didn't even give a second half. Oh, taking some names, Tavita Tamilau. Legion looking to reclaim that try that was called back. Ball knocked around, they'll play on. 5 meters out with Ma'a Nonu. On a little no-look feed, looking for Luke Green, and it's a turnover to Chicago. Nice support on the edge. Teo denies the offload. And a smart decision by McLean Jones to just allow the next phase to set up.
Stay.
Can Chicago stay disciplined?
Okay, stop, five.
As Elof will finally send it
Watch out, Mark.
for the sake of gaining some real estate, but it's going to trickle all the way past the try line.
It's a goal line.
He was going for the 50-22 that time, but how about this series from San Diego? Good skills all around, some flick passes, but not that time. And then Chicago scoops it up and turns the tables on him and makes this big break down the outside channel. Chris Matina there in support, doesn't need him. Strum here is going to look for Matina back inside, but too many black and red jerseys in the way. They continue to advance upfield, but they decide to go out the back, put that kick into the corner. JP Elof in a moment will come up on the screen here, put this one in the corner, but puts it a little bit too far. Doesn't quite get his hips into that sideline. Here it is here. Doesn't quite get his hips where he wants it, and it trickles in beyond the goal line.
Mikey Teo sends this one airborne. It stays in the red zone for the attack for Chicago. John Cullen. Cullen reemerged from retirement, self-imposed retirement, entering this season. Hadn't played since that 2020 campaign with Utah. Oh, look what I found. Gift wrap for Ma'a Nonu. He's got support. Nate Augsburger gets his try.
Nate Augsburger wanted those meters back. He wanted that GPS tracker to get up there. That's sitting in the top of his jersey that you see. He wanted those numbers to keep getting inflated. He had his other try called back, but that time, Ma'a Nonu just gets in the passing channel, gets his big hands on it, realizes I could just hand this one off to Nate to finish. Nonu pushing 40 these days. Augsburger not too far off, but still has gas and wheels to finish. And what an exceptional finish this time. And Augsburger just pulls away that time. He's on his bike, he's moving. Matina's not catching him.
Probably felt like he was playing the sevens game with all that real estate out ahead of him. You mentioned the ageless wonders. Ma'a Nonu already entering his 5th decade on this earth, and he knew exactly where Nate was for that offload. A chance for Josh Henderson to tack on the conversion here in a moment. That's a more favorable angle than he saw the last time. Seven-point lead, biggest advantage for either team today belongs to Legion. Here is another look.
And take a look that time. You see what they were trying to do. They had a couple white jerseys on the outside, but Nanu's just a smart player. Gets into that passing channel. Bryce Campbell that time was trying to go around them, go over top of them, just couldn't figure out how to get around the big fella and ended up going right to him. And then Nonu again realizes he's pushing 40 like you said. He had Augsburgers to his outside. Just here you go, Nate, you finish this one off.
The Golden Gopher. That time the try stands. Tom Franklin getting the start today. Again, the former All Black in his 3rd year.
Stop here, guys. Winger's good.
A line out coming up for us here in the 26th minute.
If you're Chicago right now and you're in this field position, which is a pretty good one to be after just getting scored on, you see them here trying to rally the troops a little bit, figure out what they're doing. Maybe go short line out, hit that midfield, try to get this San Diego defense backpedaling a little bit. And then we've seen a lot of change of direction from the Chicago attack. Maybe sweep that back line back down this short side. Would be great to see out of the Hounds.
San Diego fans have had a lot of chances to scream at Luke White over the years, wearing different color shirts when he visits San Diego, whether it's with Glendale or more recently with Los Angeles. There is Mr. White with that rock under his left arm. Won the league in 2021 with Los Angeles after that dominant inaugural campaign that came up just short with the Raptors. And knock on here.
And just unlucky that time. They were looking good. They were going the same way with some of their phase play, but Strum that time just couldn't hang on.
Take a look over in the east. That one past the hour mark. Got underway about an hour before us. Right now, DC up by 5 on the Ironworkers. You've seen a lot of New York this year and over the years. What are their expectations for the second half of the season?
I don't know, but it hurts to see that scoreline. I'll tell you that. When that score report came up, I had been following it before the game a little bit. You know, always hoping that the guys down in DC today are doing a job, but New York has just had a rough go this year so far. I've seen a lot of them. It's tough, though. You win that title and you come back again and you repeat. That's a really tough thing to do. They're without Andy Ellis, who's kind of the heartbeat of their organization. That's a difficult task. It's impressive that Seattle was able to do that the way that they did.
We've only seen Seattle repeat so far in the history of this league. They did those first 2 years, and to add some insult to injury, they won those titles right here in San Diego, often at the expense of ending the run for the Legion those years. The Legion have been to the postseason 3 times. All 3 times they unfortunately ran in to Seattle, including last year.
But they did break my heart back in our first year with New York, and it was the end of the game play. It was Joe Peterson, never forget it. Peterson puts that kick in late in the game, and just, that was it. That was season over for us, devastating. But you know what? San Diego's a class organization. I was singing their praises earlier on. And on paper, we talked about Chicago's looked good on paper. San Diego on paper, their roster has looked fire every single season. They just haven't been able to put all the pieces together and lift that title at the end of the year. This could be their year for the San Diego Legion.
Danny Lee is hoping a match like this helps you develop depth for late in the season when it truly is a grind. Of course, those championships were played at Torero Stadium, the old home of the Legion. A great home now here at Snapdragon. Of course, Chicago will be hosting this year's final match over at SeatGeek.
Stay here, hold here.
Biggest deficit so far as Meeks, little fingertips, able to squeeze that one in. Yakubian. That's to Nate Sylvia, who gets the start today at Loosehead.
Well done.
All right, the Hounds were able to answer the first try for San Diego today. Can they continue to keep up? As they flirt with that red zone, Billy Meeks thinking about a brace, has help out wide. And looking to win a little foot race on the 50-50. Caleb Strom put boot to ball. It'll get away. Let's check back in with aNonu down on the pitch.
Hi guys, yeah, so I spoke with Sam Harris, head coach of the Chicago Hounds earlier, and I asked him about having multiple players from the old Austin and LA teams. And he told me his goal is to unite and be known as just the Chicago Hounds. He's taken the team to some other Chicago sporting events to show the sort of fans you can really have in the Midwest who really back their team. So I'm excited to see what he can build and the sort of franchise he can create. Now on the other hand, you have Danny Lee, head coach of the Legion, who's giving some of his guys more opportunity this game to get good minutes in. Of course, he still has his usual starters in like Mikey Teo and Ma'a Nonu, but this is a chance to deepen his bench for the rest of the season. So I'm excited to see both these teams keep battling it out. Back to you.
Yeah, the Hounds this week were at Wrigley throwing out the first pitch, so your move, San Diego Padres. Let's get the Legions out. I know the problem is they're used to throwing that ball backwards, but I think they would allow at least one forward pass for 60 feet 6 inches to home plate.
Did you see Bryce Campbell's throw? I think he threw a rising fastball when he was throwing it off the mound. He was so excited. That was so cool. And that's fantastic. And that's what you need to do, especially if you're a new team. You need to get out there in the community, have your presence felt, let people know about it, because we all know Chicago's a big sports town. They love their Chicago sports, whether it's the Blackhawks or the Bulls or the Cubbies or the White Sox or whatever it is. Now they want to jump on the Hounds bandwagon.
They did confirm this would be a kick here for San Diego during that last report. Looking to build some steam again. Luke White. A side entry from San Diego. They'll continue. Matarazzo.
Stay there.
And Hounds trailing by 7.
Not on the ball, not on the ball.
Can they level it once more here at Snapdragon in the opening half?
Advantage offside, Black.
Playing with advantage here. Can they get creative? Jones. Meeks dancing. Able to lose one tackler before Ma'a Nonu finally puts a halt.
Entry. Get out, get out.
And Cam Stone will straighten all this out. I believe the resume was just read back to Ma'a Nonu
by John Cullen. Former, I want to say he was in the Army. I don't specifically know which branch, but played with John Cullen. He's as tough as nails. He's as hard as they come. Spent a few seasons in the NFL. He's looking at Ma'a Nonu saying, dude, I don't care who you are, where you're from, how many All Blacks caps you have. You can't do that, man.
I didn't know that we were going on to LinkedIn profiles to get trash talk.
Stand off the line, you guys.
Less than 10 minutes to go here in the opening half.
No care for the icon that time.
All right, this is the same spot where Chicago found their opening try. The line out from 5 meters out, the driving maul. It was Meeks last time that dotted it down. And it's a return visit for Chicago as they pull back within 2.
What a response from the Chicago Hounds, and I'll tell you what, this has been several minutes in the making, and it all goes back to a scrum that they stole from San Diego. Alex Corbisiero, their forwards and scrum coach, will be steaming up in the booth right now. But look at this. What a maul from Chicago, just sitting at the back that time.
Yeah, it's Hugh Roach, the former Super Rugby man, who has Chicago with a chance to tie it here on the conversion.
And just what a series that time. Just possession, keeping the ball, holding on to it. Really, really well done by the Chicago Hounds, and they've earned that one for sure.
As Chris Mattina, his 5th year here in the league, the New York City man, former Delaware Blue Hen. Off the tee, splits the sticks, and for the second time today, we are level in the opening half, this time a dozen apiece for Chicago and San Diego.
I love it. I love it. Even before the game, we were talking about this. We were saying, man, this could be a tough day for Chicago. And like we said, they're good through the first 50, right? That's what we talked about. That's the stat we saw. But right now, they're looking good. They're doing the right things. They're putting pressure on that San Diego ruck, trying to slow the ball down. They've got 2 steals under their belt already in those situations, both deep in their own end, where San Diego looked to be threatening to score, stole the ball, got it back, and then that last series, just exceptional work to steal the scrum and then march up for that try.
So Chicago gets the ball back here. Can they find their first lead of the match? Ma'a Nonu with the tackle of Matarazzo, and they carry it into touch.
That's a great individual effort that time by Franklin, number 5 for San Diego, who just got in there on Matarazzo and just bear hugged him literally and then dragged him into touch to get the line out for the Legion.
None of this. We're not allowed in this league. Let's go, please.
So San Diego gets this ball back almost immediately after the kickoff.
Let's go, ball's here.
Shiloh Klein will do the honors.
Hold.
And somehow, in a Hound sandwich, it's Tom Franklin in between, able to keep that ball with the Legion. But Chicago not backing down.
And that was our head-to-head matchup that time. That was Augsburger coming off his wing straight into O'Keefe, and O'Keefe just holding him up. Ball wasn't coming out. The maul was formed, says our referee. And let's take a look at it. So, like you said, a pinpoint throw that time from the Legion, from Klein. And then here's Augsburger looking for some space. Doesn't find it. Straight across from him was O'Keefe, as well as another Chicago Hound defender. And they just stuff him up. And the ball's not reproduced, and therefore we're turning it over to Chicago.
Got to keep that ball flowing. Already a try today for that man, his 8th on the year. He would tell you he has 9. But one of them called back for obstruction.
That's 3 turnovers in these contact situations, 2 at the ruck, and then 1 just now that we saw for Chicago. We talked about slowing that ball down. They're doing a great job at it. They really need to focus on that contact area situation.
Can the Hounds stay disciplined? They've leveled it once more after trailing by 7 moments ago, as Augsburger cannot keep it in. It'll be a line out for Chicago.
And Augsburger's got his hand up because that one's going back Chicago as well. It's the second time we've seen one of these wings on the outside just trying to tightrope walk on those chalk lines on the side, trying to keep the ball in play, and that time Augsburger's toes just over the line. We're coming back for a Chicago line out off that Elof kick.
He's one of just 5 San Diego starters wearing the same number they had last week. Hugh Roach thinking about a brace to match the number on his back. About 4 minutes to go here in this opening half in San Diego. Mattina. Brought down by aNonu.
Holding on.
And failure to release after the tackle.
Great set-piece move that time from the Hounds. They made that little break right off the fringe with that inside ball to Roach, like you said, who made a good break. Had another series then right after that, and then Mattina just finds himself isolated and 2 Legion players right over top of him. We talked about the contact situation on defense being important for the Hounds, but offensively, just as important to hold on to these balls. There's the play off the line out with that flick back inside. Little ball shown there, but come out quick off the base of it. That's what finds them that space along the fringe. They come up here with a forward hit. Great skill that time from Luke White into the hands of USA Eagle Bryce Campbell. And then unfortunately here, Matina just can't find his outside options, and the midfield defense of that Legion just swallows him up.
Unable to make that ball available as San Diego gets it back after the whistle. Now putting the pressure for Chicago to play this one cleanly. Immediately met after landing on his 2 feet. Matina on his backside.
Use it!
Well, each team is halfway to a try bonus today. Chicago was flirting with 2 points in the loss last weekend, but a late turnover and a late try from New England not just denied Chicago a loss bonus, but it kept them 1 try shy of getting the try bonus. That keeps them at the bottom of the West, behind Dallas.
Oh, sorry, mate.
We're going to find some real estate. JP Eloff under some pressure.
Right, hold.
And we'll have another line out pending. Two minutes to go here in the opening half, and this is when you want to be able to stay disciplined.
Right.
San Diego in that physical matchup in Seattle.
Hold.
Today, no different with Chicago. They'll keep it short. A little trickery in the game plan.
Backwards!
An opportunity appears squandered.
Lost forward. Was it lost ball from White on the ground, so there's options? Out by White, okay. Red line out!
Back to the Legion for line out. Another look.
Some trickery from the Hounds on the other side with some inside options. And how about this one from the Legion going down that short side? Just one too many that time, unfortunately, but some good ground cover in that 5-meter channel.
That ball bit a Hound on its way out, so the line out here for San Diego.
Josephine, out.
Shiloh Klein right now at the rock. Nonu being kind, not looking for contact. 6 meters out. Klein with the dummy. He's within 3. Legion looking for a lead to take into the sheds. Ben Grant surging backwards after 3 Hounds gather around him. And the Hounds continue to be able to swarm to the ball. And Henderson, he'll pay the price for that dummy. As the Hounds have pushed San Diego back another 10 meters. Chicago trying to hold on, hoping a miscue from San Diego could send us to the break. Level at 12 apiece. Augsburger has support, and San Diego is going to take an advantage, it appears, into halftime.
Augsburger, not just the try scorer, but assist man that time, putting Pryor down into the corner. That was some good patience from this Legion offense. And take a look at this, 2-on-1 on Matina that time. Matina just caught in no man's land on the outside. Wasn't quite sure, do I take Augsburger and bite down? Do I stay on the outside? Really great setup that time from Augsburger, and a fantastic finish from Pryor in the corner. And that is the Legion side that we're seeing. 3 tries in the first half. The Legion just, again, showing so much class on offense, and that was just one of many fantastic tries that they've scored.
The try will stand. A conversion pending. Dan Pryor dotted down after it's all set up by Nate Augsburger. And as you noted, the Legion now are 1 try shy.
Try score.
Henderson 1 for 2 today. This is another challenging angle. He probably would have preferred the pyrotechnics had waited a moment, as this one's going to steer left of the sticks. But San Diego with a 5-point lead, and that's going to send us into the locker rooms here at Snapdragon. We take a look at our try summary in the opening half. 5 total, 3 for the home side.
Back and forth all afternoon so far. Led off with Mikey Teo for San Diego. In the opening 5 minutes, looked like it could have been a long day for the Hounds, but they answer back and it made this one a game.
Well, we're going to catch our breath because at halftime, we're going to try to sum up all of the action that unfolded yesterday at Major League Rugby, including one match that saw 80 points for the victors. Right now, it's the Hounds going in the locker room, down by 5 on the road against the Legion.
Cross to 22 goes Mark O'Keefe. Unable to step around Moroni. Chicago, can they find the lead? Cross field kick to Dominguez. Julian Dominguez with the fin. Dominguez across and down, and the Hounds take the lead. Dominguez, 25-year-old out of Buenos Aires in Argentina, the former Argentina sevens man.
We got the hits. We got the kicks.
Oh God, that looked way too good.
The passes. The athletes. And the fans. We got the pride. And the passion. All we need is you.
Now Smith eludes one, already has a try, but it's going to be the captain with the brace. Haddock, that may well seal it for Seattle. California with the last man. Here comes Haddock across and down. Richard Haddock.
Haddock coming on a short ball. Nobody sees him, and he's going to dive just short with the offload. And now see what's.
Of course, it would be Haddock heavily involved in that try.
6 meters down for the Seawolves. And there's your opening by the captain, Haddock. Put it within 4. Haddock looking for a break.
The was pointing toward the sideline. Look at that looping pass over the top. He loves space, doesn't he? Haddock causing havoc.
Hello, everyone. It's time now for MLR's All Access at the Half. I'm Stacey Pates. That is Mark Stabina. And on the other side of the screen, we have a pretty awesome guy. His name is Jason Dom. You know him from the ATL. We're happy to welcome him in. Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, Jason.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yay. Okay, here we go. 60 seconds with Stacey and Stabby.
Let's do it.
Right? Oh, are you ready? Ooh, here we go. I love it. I love it. Okay, what is your favorite movie of all time?
I always go back to What We Do in the Shadows. It's a movie about vampires in New Zealand. It's very good comedy.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's on the list.
Yeah.
Jason, pre-game pump-up song, what is it?
That's a tough one. And by that, I mean, it's very easy. Lovely Day by Bill Withers. I like to keep a cool mindset, keep things pretty chill before a game.
I feel that about you. Also, during a game, you were able to give a shout out to the beautiful Gypsy. Your cat had a birthday, so we were happy to celebrate that with you. Who on your team would you not trust to watch Gypsy overnight?
Ooh. Let's see. I'm going to go with Dion Erasmus. You know, he's a caring guy, but I don't know if he's a cat guy.
Okay, fair enough.
Ouch.
I'm looking over at her now, and she's agreeing.
Okay, what's a most surprising fact about you?
In college at Clemson, I worked, did research with salamanders, and I was able to get authorial credits onto research papers about salamander physiology. So there you go.
That is a great fact, and that is also the buzzer. Jason Dom, thank you so much. You are fantastic, and we look forward to seeing you do more incredible things on the pitch this season.
Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And we want to give you an opportunity to be on national television. Just scan the barcode on your screen, send us your favorite game day experience, and you could be on our show as well. That's going to do it for MLR All Access at the Half, and make sure you join us every Tuesday for MLR All Access.
Halftime at Snapdragon Stadium, the Legion defending their home turf as they do not give the Hounds a chance to answer that third try that sent us into the break. It's the Legion up on the expansion side, 17-12. Lincoln Rose, Mike Petrie. Let's fly around the league. Thanks to our friends at American Airlines.
And here's some highlights of everything that's been going on in the MLR this weekend. And this is just one of many New England Free Jacks tries against the Toronto Arrows on the road. That was a big win for this Free Jack side, who put their stamp on being that top team in the East. And then here's a try from Atlanta, who put a hurt on New Orleans this time. And here's Will Leonard dotting down with a beautiful support play and getting super excited as he dotted that one down for Atlanta. And there's a shot of Phil Teal, my former teammate, who's been out of the game a little bit, but back on the field for Atlanta. So they're going way, way into the depth chart, our Rugby Atlanta right now. And how about this one last night, which I had the pleasure of calling, which was Houston and Dallas. This one here was a tight game back and forth. Dallas played fantastic, but this one here with this little kick through was the bonus point for Houston and sealed the deal for them with the win over the Jackals as they dot down in the corner.
Dallas unable to string 2 wins together for the first time in their young history after that win 2 weeks ago against Toronto, followed by the bye week last weekend. They are swept this year by their Texas rivals.
And this is one that everybody had their eyes on, and it lived up to all the hype. This was Utah and Seattle. Utah, who played part of the game with only 13 players at one point, hold on to win this one, and this was exciting, including this try right here by the Warriors in their home ground, one of the most beautiful places to play there at Zion Bank Stadium, and they put a stamp on their place in the Western Conference, which is a very tight race, but they look really good out in that Western Conference.
That would be your final score, 41-35, as the Warriors stay in the hunt. Seattle has now lost 2 straight after falling to San Diego last weekend. There was one other match earlier today that has gone final, as in the nation's capital, Old Glory defends their home pitch against the defending league champions, the Ironworkers of New York.
And that would be the first win for Old Glory DC in franchise history over New York with 42-31. And again, tough for these New York Ironworkers to come back and put back-to-back championships on the board.
In our fly around the league, brought to you by American Airlines, as are the standings here in Major League Rugby. Now, rub your eyes a little. San Diego is not in the top spot at the moment, as Houston yesterday did move up with those 31 points. The Legion, at the very least with a try bonus today, would pull even with Houston if they can get the win, or a loss bonus. Obviously, they leapfrog the SaberCats right back into pole position in a very crowded West all of a sudden, thanks to the Warriors. It is a 4-team race. We step aside. When you rejoin us, we'll get you some of the numbers that stand out from the opening half, including 17-12, our score.
I started playing rugby in 7th grade, kept getting detention, and the dean of the middle school was the head rugby coach, so he brought me out to rugby practice instead of making me serve my detention.
A bunch of seniors got me out when I was a freshman. They were all my brother's friends, and they actually got me out to join the team.
I got into rugby in 2012. My dad introduced me into it to stay fit after football and basketball season.
I use Thorne products pre and post workout to maximize my recovery, muscle growth, make sure that I can be my best self on the field.
Thorne's a supplement company that I can trust. They're NSF certified for sport, so I know that I can take this and know what's in their product.
I use their protein, get my muscles nice and big.
The products I use with Thorne have minimal ingredients, they're high quality, they're clean, they're batch tested, taste amazing, and it made everything in my recovery and my performance better.
If you're not recovering off the pitch, you're not your best self on the pitch. Thorne gets me there.
When we pick up the ball, we also pick up a legacy. A legacy that stretches beyond your current team. A legacy built on the backs of those who came before you with hard work. And for those who will come after you, we promise it won't be easy. But we'll be there, supporting you on and off the field.
Today's live coverage brought to you by Synergy Orthopedics, the official medical partner of the San Diego Legion. Thank you to Synergy Orthopedics medical team. C3 Bank is a local San Diego customer-focused banking institution committed to offering premier banking service. And crafted in San Diego, Seaborn is a modern take on classic cocktails inspired by our travels far and wide. And of course, Illinois Bone and Joint Institute, the official medical partner of the Chicago Hounds. Lincoln Rose, Mike Petrie with you as see if we can squeeze in some numbers from that opening half that stand out as our stats from the opening 40, brought to you by Arctic Outdoors.
Territory pretty evenly split down the middle. Tackles missed count is very high for both teams. 12 for the Legion, 19 for the Hounds. They'll both want to get that number down. But it is worth mentioning, San Diego's made 106 tackles. Chicago's made 60, but Chicago has made 9 dominant tackles in that first half compared to 0 for the San Diego Legion.
Legion will start with the ball here in the second half after they were able to dial up a third lead to take them into halftime with that try from Dan Pryor in the corner. Hounds did not have a chance to respond. They'll say it went backwards, no knock on there. Ball stays with the visitors.
Leave the ball now.
And Yakubian, your scrum half for a second straight week, will play this one.
Okay, come to me, White. Sorry, Rick.
And into touch, we'll set up our first set piece of the second half of the line out.
And we'll come all the way back downfield.
You're right.
Freire kicked from. That's a big loss for San Diego. It was a huge kick off that left foot as he was on the run making that kick. Had some momentum behind him. Probably didn't mean to put that much mustard on it, but ended up sailing it downfield. Mattino watched it sail into touch.
Outside the 22 on the full, so you bring it back. Here's Hugh Roach for Chicago. Yakubian has options out wide. He goes to Meeks. 22 meters out from tying this match up for a third time today. Chicago finished with 3 tries last weekend, just shy of a bonus point. And a late score from the Free Jacks denied them the lost bonus as well. Eloff.
Well done. 1.
George Thornton not going down easily, breaking some tackles. Meeks off the shoelaces. As this one's going to tightrope the near touchline, but finally takes a turn.
What a play that time from Freire, just covering in the backfield, just hunting behind that line, doing what fullbacks do best and just showing class that time. His last kick went a little bit too far, but that one was awesome. And how about this rumble by Thornton, just plowing forward for Chicago, just trying to get those meters. And then Billy Meeks looks up, sees a bunch of red jerseys, but doesn't see Freire in the backfield. And then he just hoofs it downfield with that left foot.
No hesitation from Matias Freire, who gets the start at fullback today, the former Houston SaberCat.
Come on!
The American-born Argentine who's recently competed in the World Rugby Sevens. As already we're seeing some fresh kits out there, including Michael Baska. Baska back in MLR after spending last year in the second division of the French League. Spent 4 years with Utah and NOLA previously here in the States.
That's a great kick and a good impact right away by Baska. I really like the way Chicago changes the direction of their attack. They'll be going right to left across the field, and then they'll sweep back the other direction. That time they use a little wrap with Baska. Baska looks up, sees that Augsburger, that winger, is up in the defensive line. Must mean there's lots of space back there. Puts it on the ground and dribbles it into the corner.
Stay 2 and 2, 9. Yep.
Legion pinned back on their own end. Need to be error-free here. Short-lived maul. Looking for something on the perimeter. Hounds escorting them into touch. Well done. As Higgins just ran out of real estate here on the near side.
If you're San Diego right now, the past 4 minutes, you've been under a lot of pressure in your own end. I think there is where you just need to settle down, put your kicker back in the pocket, and just clear your lines. Higgins that time, and that looked like that was Klein who tried to make a break with him down that short side, trying to make something out of nothing, maybe make one of those big breakout plays. But in that moment, you just got to relieve some pressure, not keep the pressure up against you.
Ben Grant came up just shy over the steal on the line out there. Meeks full speed ahead. Catches that one in stride. Now 11 meters out. That's a free ball. Luke White able to smother it. Basket the lone change at the moment for Sam Harris's Hounds. Chicago looking for points on the road. At that 5-week homestand at SeatGeek Stadium. Now 2 straight weeks on opposite coasts. And a turnover. Almost handed directly over to Brahe. And which way is that ball going to bounce next? Eloff, a sprint down the touchline. He has support with Meeks. Numbers for Chicago, including 5 more on the scoreboard. Dotted down by Mark O'Keefe.
What a turn of events in the past 60 seconds. That was unreal. That was just fun to watch. Look at this. There's a kick from Klein downfield. And then look at these bounces. We go from almost Augsburger scooping that one up, going the other way, to Eloff turning the tables on him, going down that sideline. And look at all those white jerseys in support. Everybody wants a piece of it. There's our man from the head-to-head matchup, O'Keefe. You almost had Augsburger going the other way, the other part of that head-to-head to score, and instead his opposite wing scores on the other side with O'Keefe dotting down. So our 2 guys that we chatted about in the pregame are trading tries in this one.
Someone let all the Hounds off leash all at the same time. The ball's not supposed to bounce that way for the visiting team, is it? Boy, that one just catered to the run for Eloff to get it all started. And now Chicago again has a chance to take a lead for the first time following their 3rd try. Matina. And it's going to stay level, 17 apiece.
And after 6.5 minutes, this has been all Chicago so far. Here's that kick, here's the play again. Look at this bounce. This is just an awkward, terrible bounce for San Diego. So many black and red jerseys just putting so much into it. And then all of a sudden, the ball takes a weird bounce and it's into the hands of Eloff. Eloff finds Meeks inside. Meeks finds O'Keefe outside. Really good weave that time down that short channel. But again, we come back to that point where San Diego had a chance to clear their lines. They didn't do it. They'll be regretting that one.
San Diego's the only team that has a chance to finish atop the West ahead of Houston, but that's a little bit more in doubt. We mentioned the magical minute mark is 50 for the Hounds. Nate Augsburger, they're looking for that bonus try and looking to reclaim the lead. Oh, rejuvenation, Ma'a Nonu, putting everyone else in America in their 40s to shame.
But if you're Ma'a Nonu, you better go over and you better give Nate Augsburger a high five and some praise, man. I know you hooked him up with a try earlier, but this one here, this is Nate Augsburger. Watch this. This is such a solo individual effort. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Chicago Hounds to try to stop Augsburger, and then just some flick passes over the top, and then Nonu showing his gas to score in the corner. Augsburger that time not to be outdone by O'Keefe, showing some fancy work in open field, and then what a play by the Legion to show their continuity in their class down the short side and get that bonus point.
So San Diego is now guaranteed to claim at least 1 point today. They still have their eye on a full 5 if they can find the victory against Chicago.
He's back.
And we're hitting that 50-minute mark where we've seen Chicago start to crumble. As you mentioned, they've been in the game up until this point just about. So if you're Chicago, this is where you really need to dig your cleats in a little bit and get ready for these last 30.
Use the phones, we'll use the phones.
The 25-year-old from Scotland has this one on the tee. That one in line, and it's good. Second try today, the brace from Ma'a Nonu. Each time it's Augsburger playing a significant role, dialing up the drive for his teammate. As San Diego immediately reclaims the advantage over Chicago. Scoreboard operator might need some ice for that finger by the end of tonight. Ball back over to San Diego after taking the lead for the 4th time.
See Roach that time upset, saw the disconnect at the back of that San Diego Legion ruck. I think he was right there. He could have had a shot at that ball, but our referee, Cam Stone, wasn't happy, backed him up.
3 times Chicago has trailed. Each time they have had an answer. To their credit, can they do it again here at Snapdragon? Can the Legion find that elusive insurance score? Give themselves some breathing room here in the second half. We've reached that 50th minute. Now complete. This is where Chicago has lost some steam. And you don't know as a coach whether that's a reflection of your bench or any other kind of fatigue that weighs on a team that just has 1 win so far in its inaugural campaign. On a scary moment as we'll play on. Each side with a man down. For Legion, again, that is Matias Freire.
Hey, you're sure that he played him there? 15 in the air.
I think they're going to look at that hit, whether there's an attempt to wrap up or whether it's just a shoulder.
So he's underneath him.
Might be looking at whether or not it was early as well. Freire went through the air, went airborne to catch that one.
I might just check. Yep.
It is a TMO review. We'll listen into the conversation.
I'm just going to check. Yeah. Derek, TMO.
Cam, can you hear me?
Lexus is called playing the man in the air.
Yeah.
I just want to check that because if there's foul play, obviously need to deal with that. If there's not, there's a knock on from white and red scrum. But just need to be clear if there's a number and the foul play, please.
Okay.
Talk to me that I know you're with me, Derek.
Pulling it up now. Okay, I'm looking at it. I've got 10 white on the ground. He does make contact with the player in the air. There is a San Diego player who also makes contact with 10 white. That for me, that's a mitigating factor. Can you hear me, Cam?
There have been some comms breakdowns throughout the
broken
match.
up again.
We'll see if Derek Summers can relay. You heard the mitigating factor, and that makes sense. If your own teammate blocks a defender into you, that's not going to be entirely held against that defender. What did you see?
That right arm of Matina there that I think our TMO, Derek Summers, is looking at from that angle. And they're watching it in the stadium there on the big screen.
I'm comfortable. Penalty only. I'm going to stay with the penalty. Benjamin, don't worry about it. Penalty only. Taking the man in the air.
They arrived at the same decision. I'm not sure if he heard the explanation from Derek, but they reached the same conclusion.
10. Just be careful under him. He's gone out under. Just be careful.
Again, in rugby,
possibly, but he's still come under danger.
Not playing that ball, have to make sure that anybody who
you,
leaves their feet can come back down to earth safely.
Got it right.
As Chicago will try to get the pace to pick back up. San Diego almost with a steal.
Get out of the way. Well done.
Advantage here for the Hounds after the brief knock-on from the Legion. Luke White.
The lineout was stolen by Chicago that time and almost regathered by San Diego, but a good job that time to get that forward pod up in the air and steal that ball from the Legion.
Okay, hold here, you guys. Hold. Hold on.
The veteran Sears Giroux comes on for Sylvia. As we're starting to see some changes make their way out there.
And there's that steal off the line out. That's Matarazzo getting his hand up on that ball. Good lift by their forward pod, getting them high into the air. We saw some really accurate throwing from the Legion by their starting hooker, Klein. That time McNulty had that one picked off.
Yeah, how about Sean McNulty comes right in and immediately has 2 lineouts. This is Chicago taking another one away. Basca. To see Cardion for Strum. Strum got the start today for the injured Dominguez, who had to leave early in that first half against the Free Jacks last weekend.
Well done.
So Luke Carty, the versatile fullback and fly half, comes on for Chicago. Well, the Hounds had been doing all the right things to stay within a score. This one back to San Diego.
Walk away. Playing the ball on the ground and holding on.
So I was trying to listen in on what our referee saw there. There was a couple of things he probably could have called. Went with both of them playing the ball on the ground and holding on. So both against Mark O'Keefe that time. Fumbled the ball in contact a little bit, regathered it while he was still on the ground. And then as San Diego was coming in to steal it, wouldn't release the ball.
What do you mean come around, mate? Come around.
And try and stop the ball.
If the ball's
After tonight, Chicago heads home. They'll be hosting New Orleans next weekend back at SeatGeek Stadium. Neutral site this year for the league's championship will be SeatGeek in Chicago. Sean McNulty again on as your hooker off the bench for San Diego. We've also seen Justice Sears Daru come on. He was with LA last year, but of course made his name with Seattle in this league. Brahe in time. It's going to be called back before Mikey Teo can flirt with a brace. Those 2 originals in MLR. JP Eloff wearing a little bit different color scheme this year. Mikey returning from that other shade of red and black in Utah.
Both USA Eagles as well, but let's go back and take a look at this replay. A couple passes out the back, and then a basketball pass over the top from Rocky that time, but then Ferreira that time just trying to flick it to the outside, and it goes forward to Teo. But I'll tell you what, I've seen some really great defensive stuff from Rocky today in the midfield. Him and Na'u have put in quite a shift in the midfield for the San Diego Legion side.
Teo, who at times has worn that 15 that his teammate Matias Ferreira is wearing today. And this is the reason why our halt in action.
Cam, if you can hear me, no issue with the player down. He just got his head on the wrong side of the tackle.
It was his mistake. Okay, great, thanks.
So the Legion making significant changes coming into today. But at the moment, up by 7. That's a promising sign. You're going to get another look. Look towards the bottom of your screen.
So here's this line out that goes short from McNulty and then straight back into his hands. And then, ooh. Yep. That's smarts.
So Hugh Roach, see if he's done for the day. Came via the dispersal draft to Chicago after 2 years in Austin with his current and former head coach, Sam Harris. That'll be the first change among the big men for Chicago, as we do see one of his former teammates, Mason Cook, the Sheriff, coming on. Mason, the pride of Coralville, Iowa, a 4-time All-Ivy League standout and champion with Dartmouth, wearing a similar color scheme in his college days. Can you spot the Dartmouth grad?
Sporting a fantastic mustache as well. Love that little curl at the end of it. Looks real good. Nice job there, Mason Cook. Looking sharp.
I never bothered to write his roster number in my notes. I just put the mustache on there, and It's easier to spot him that way.
Easy to identify is right. He's got a good PR team, that's it. He's got a good PR team. He says, look, sport this mustache, everybody will be able to pick you out right away.
All right, the new scrum half is DeWall for Chicago. And pardon me, Baska's taking over there.
We mentioned the stat at halftime that Chicago had 9 dominant tackles to San Diego's 0. But that one right there, Ben Graham must have been listening into our broadcast and taking offense to that, because he came flying off that line and smashed his opposite, made a huge dominant tackle for the Legion to cause this turnover.
Remember, against Seattle, it was more of a game of chess. They went to the tee more often, not knowing how many points they would need to win that one up in Tukwila. Today's been about the tries. Already a try bonus secured by San Diego, and a stout defense as well.
Take a look at that hit. Chicago is pinned on that sideline. There's only one direction to go. That's where, if you're that defense, you can really put your feet in the blocks and come flying off that line, and that's what Ben Grant did.
That's another steal by Chicago on the line out from the feed from McNulty.
And I think if you were San Diego right now, you might have been thinking twice about that decision to not have gone for points and go to the corner instead. You've already got the bonus point. You're up by 7. Maybe take some time off that clock. But like you said, they had a lot of changes in this lineup. Some of these boys want to play. They want to go to the corner and have a shot.
If we rewind back to 2018 to 2019, you're calling for the tee there. But this league and the strategy has evolved consistently one year to the next. And playing a little too quick for their own good, but Elof able to maintain possession here for his fellow Hounds.
Well done, buddy.
Does Chicago have an answer for a 4th time today? Ball spills loose off the boot, but they're going to call it back. It's a knock-on. Luke White thought he was going to have himself a candidate for try of the week.
Too many red and black jerseys around that breakdown. There were 2 of them real strong over the ball. And one of them is Pryor right there. Just gets his hands on it. And really well done from that midfield defense from San Diego.
So being able to dribble through the defense's legs by rule in this sport is a knock-on. They'll bring it back.
Keep our balance.
As the Legion continue to rotate in, more men getting experience in this one.
Come on. Crouch.
And they've already replaced 2/3 of that front here in the scrum. Higgins gets us back underway. Will Hooley has come on. He's wearing the 26 on his back, but all eyes on Jason Higgins, who finds support with Marani. Ball freed up though, 6 meters out.
No. Got an AR call. Foul play, hold on. Sorry. Just hold.
See if Marquise Goodwin helps give an explanation from his AR position.
Just got an AR call, so can we just sprint teams? Thanks, guys. Here. Over, grab him down, solid. That's what a knockout. So what's the foul play there? What, on the shirt.
Yeah, the high tackle is what was spotted by our assistant
so
referee.
You're saying penalty here against White for the high tackle? Yeah. Okay. Pulling on the collar, yes. Yep. 13. Jaw penalty because there's a high tackle as he came through. Guys, there's a high tackle. We actually haven't got the number, but you can't pull someone by the collar. So there's high tackle, foul play penalty here. Time on!
It's number 7.
And right there. That is a spot where we see a lot of leg injuries on that, reaching into the back collar and pulling immediately down from behind.
Here's another look at it. This is number 7. That's McLean Jones and JP Eloff pursuing, reaching out to make that stop just to keep them out of the try zone.
And San Diego still struggling with their line out. Twice from 5 meters out, it's back to Chicago.
Okay, what? Everyone stop! Everyone, 14! 14, don't bother!
Cam Stone trying to keep everybody on side.
Hold on.
Our referee essentially saying, help me, help you. Augsburger.
It's in front of the mark, he can't take it.
As they're going to bring it back. Apparently called for a mark.
Yeah, all good. Just do your line out. Still your line out.
They're coming back because even though they did a quick throw, they're saying he was in front of the mark. So the quick throw would have been fine, but Mikey Teo just creeping up in front of that mark and threw the ball into Augsburger.
A reminder, every Tuesday evening on Fox Sports 2, Stacey Pates, Mark Sherbina, Kip McConico have you covered on anything you may have missed over the weekend and what to look forward to on the upcoming week in Major League Rugby. I believe they all had San Diego winning this one. Now, they didn't know the lineup that would come out today for Danny Lee's squad. But you had a team that was atop the West against the team that's right now in the basement. And Chicago, Cooley into space. And the Legion. Thomas Moroni gets in on the fun here at home.
But again, this one, Nate Augsburger's got his hands in it. When we go back and watch this replay, wait till you see this fake from Augsburger to put Hooley into space. So there's the play that goes out the back, and then there's Augsburger throwing that big dummy pass up top, finding Hooley short, and then Hooley just hitting Moroni on the outside. But what a play right around Matarazzo, right between Bryce Campbell and Mike Matarazzo to split that Hounds defense. Hooley just slices straight through and then finds Moroni in support on the outside. Excellent play by 2 of our substitutions off the bench for the Legion.
Tomas Moroni with the most recent try, and this is the largest lead of the day for San Diego.
And again, we're beyond that 50-minute mark. We're 10 minutes past it now in Chicago, looking like they're slowly starting to crumble. You got a question. Is it experience? Is it fitness? Is it just lack of chemistry? Tough to tell with the Chicago side, but they have played well up to this point.
Yeah, and this is Hooley wearing the rare 26. Pass before he was in San Diego last year over in England. 15 times capped by the red, white, and blue. That one will not bank home. It comes back into the field of play. So conversion no good, but it sent us to a hydration break. It's San Diego up a dozen on the Hounds here in California.
Shepard gets off the line. He's caused a fumble. Now the crowd are going to cheer this on. Advantage being played. Wisely keeping it alive is Noah Reed. In full stride is the scrum half. Brody, he's looking for help. He gets it to Deshaun Bowen out wide. Has he got the gas to go for the corner? His first touch is a Toronto error. Deshaun Bowen gets the...
With the right plan, the right team, and hard work, even the most unpredictable events can be overcome. At USI, you have the whole team on your side, protecting you from the unexpected and making sure you bounce back better than ever. We take the time to understand your concerns and provide solutions with customized game plans for you and your business. It's Major League focus and results for you, and we call it the USI One Advantage.
1 hour in the books, a little under 20 minutes ago. The Legion were on an upset alert against the newest members of MLR Chicago, but they add a 5th try. They go up 12. Lincoln Rose along with Mike Petrie. A chance for us to catch back up down on the sidelines with Ilona Marr. Ilona?
Hi, guys. Yeah, it's been an impressive game so far. Every time, you know, the Hounds have been answering back, but now Legion seem to be pulling away with it. I just wanted to touch on something that I think is so unique to this sport that we play. You know, being a rugby player myself, this may be my favorite part of the game, is that at the end of the game, both of these teams will come together. They're going to share a meal after battling it out on the field for 80 minutes. They're tackling, they're rucking, they're fending. San Diego Legion and the Hounds will come together, talk about the game, talk about the opponents, you know, congratulate each other on a big hit. Just seeing Mikey Teo, one of the Hounds, after a missed tackle, you know, they just laugh together and they hug each other. So it's just such an amazing sport we play, and it's so cool to see that no matter the result, these teams will come together, connect, and keep bringing this sport to the U.S. Back to you guys.
I love that Ilona's mentioned that, because I know she's still an active player, but for me, that's one of the things I miss most. I love watching the game. I love playing the game. You love being out there on the field with your teammates. But that stuff that happens off the field, the stuff in the locker rooms, the stuff after the game, you get to hang out with the opposition, make new friends from around the world. That stuff is priceless, and I really miss that about this sport, and I love that she touched on that.
A lot of players, especially for road trips, have their families travel as well, and you just see all of them often in one banquet room in the stadium, all gathering together, making introductions to their family members, their kids. Every now and then some members of the media sneak in for the free food. Elof and company trying to cut this deficit down to a single score. San Diego has had some cracks showing on their lineouts and some set pieces, so there is an opportunity. Right now it's Mark O'Keefe 5 meters out. That ball continues to move backwards for Matarazzo to recover. 3 meters out for the Hounds, trailing by 12. Looking for that final dive, and they get it down. Chicago's back within a score, as this time it's Michael DeWall getting in on the action.
That was an excellent series of play that time from Chicago coming out of that hydration break. That was class across the board, flawless passing. They looked sharp in that sequence, and I don't even know where you start this highlight, because from start to finish, that was exceptional stuff from Chicago. This time here was just the icing on the cake, was the finish, the automatic 7 straight between the posts, but so much work here. I'd venture to say that every single person in white right now that's on the field touched the ball on that sequence from start to finish, went through about 6, 7, maybe even 8 phases to finally dot down in the middle that time with DeWall. This is the first time he's come off the bench for them. He's featured all season at number 8. Gave him a little bit of a rest maybe to come off the bench instead, and that's how you come on and make an impact right away.
You mentioned it's the full 7 points, scoring behind the sticks. No need to attempt a conversion.
Because you can't play the half. Great job.
And that's a bonus point now for Chicago as well, and puts them back within 7. So, you know, still a lot of rugby left to play, but right now they could be looking at, if all things stayed as it is, you've got 2 bonus points walking out of San Diego.
This is where they were in Quincy, Massachusetts last weekend. Though they were sitting on 3 tries at the time, they were down 1 score. They easily could have come away with 2 points. They would go empty-handed. They now know they're guaranteed that try bonus today. But can they take the next step and maybe wrestle 5 points away from San Diego?
And that's just foolish from San Diego that time. You could see what Chicago's doing. They're setting up to clear their lines and kick the ball back downfield into your hands, and you come in from the side at that ruck. Just a real lack of discipline that time from the Legion. Very uncharacteristic from them, but you know what? It's late in the game. You're in a fight right now with Chicago that you probably weren't expecting, if we're honest about things, and that's that frustration just boiling over in that moment.
When you saw the roster entering this year for Chicago, this did not look like any other expansion side you had ever seen. You recognized a lot of those names. They had had so much success in their previous stops in MLR, but things just didn't gel and lead to entries into the win column. Their lone victory so far this year against Dallas, a team that at the time had never won in this league. But here's Chicago flirting with that red zone. They could take a lead here. McLean Jones, the sheriff now. Mason Cook. Boy, Cook, his rookie year in Austin, really had a nose for tries when it mattered the most.
White's taking that down.
Meeks has already made an impact in this one. Scoring once and setting up a second.
Tackle, boys! Leave the ball!
Meeks will put a boot to ball. Looking to put pressure on Augsburger, who calls for the mark, and he'll have an uncontested kick here in a moment.
It's definitely not the kick I think that Meeks wanted to put in. Augsburger, good reaction to jump back and mark that one. Meeks, I think, just had a lack of options on the outside. Looked to his outside, saw a bunch of black and red jerseys. Thought there might be some space over the top. But good coverage that time from Augsburger to shut down that space behind his back.
Well, San Diego, any comfort they thought they had from that 5th try has just about evaporated. They're feeling the pressure from Chicago here.
Come on!
Lerone White reunited with Mason Cook, comes over to talk to his hooker before this line out. San Diego's turn to steal one. Sean McNulty able to come up with that one. Hooley boot to ball. Here's the foot race. Legion trying to put this one away, and just off the fingertips of Morani. Oh, what a brace that would have been. Oh, and they get it. Got just enough, they say.
Fantastic option by Hooley to put this ball in behind off the steal. There were no players from Chicago at home. And Moroni wins that foot race against Basca, who's just hustling to try to just stop that one.
Got enough downward pressure from that left hand on top of the ball.
And here it is again, good heads up play by Hooley. Sees all that green real estate in the back, and there it is.
Boom.
There's Moroni with that hustle. And right away, the Legion fans' hands go up. They knew that one's in.
Tomas has himself that brace. And it's back to a 2-score lead over Chicago.
Nice, Marquis. Great decision.
Hooley 0 for 1 today.
Particularly when we're having trouble like we are having.
Bouncing back this year from that season-ending injury last season. They're thrilled to have him fit. It's going to steer wide. It's a 10-point affair with 12 minutes to go in San Diego.
Really frustrated that time. He's missed 2 kicks. You can see him there just shaking his head, thinking, I got to get myself back on track. You know, he'd be frustrated with himself missing those kicks, but right now they got a nice cushion of 10 points in this lead. Maybe won't need those extra points, but down the line we talked a lot about. Oh, look at this.
Legion not content yet, looking to put the nail in the coffin. Afumia with the punctuation.
And everybody just stopped playing. I'm mid-sentence talking about how long-term in this league you got to be able to hit those kicks when it counts, and Hooley's probably frustrated. And all of a sudden, you got Franklin picking off a kick that's not gone 10. Finds number 6, Afumia, in space, and that's a 55-meter try right off the kickoff, back-to-back within a span of seconds for San Diego, who probably in total touched the ball about 3 times over the course of the last minute and scored twice.
The Tongan Tupou Afumia, one of the newcomers to Major League Rugby this year, really one to watch.
Note that.
His easiest try of his career here in the States. And all of a sudden, folks who simply are just scoreboard watching aren't going to blink when they look at the score at the end of this one, presumably. With 10 minutes to go. That one banks home for Hooley.
Kisses the upright, so it's the second time he's done that today. It's as if he's aiming for that left upright. The first one hit the upright, then hit the crossbar and bounced back into field of play. That one kisses it and bounces in, and there's some happy Legion fans.
I think most of our audience is too young to know what the original chainmail was. Mikey Teo and company all of a sudden leading 41-24. At the moment, it looks like Chicago is leaving San Diego with 1 point, unless somehow they can pull it back within 7.
Use it!
Final match this weekend in Major League Rugby. All eyes here at Snapdragon Stadium on the Legion and the Hounds. San Diego has not trailed today. These two teams in a seesaw affair in the opening half with trade tries. The Hounds had 3 equalizers in that first half. As you see Alex Horan coming on. Some more fresh legs for San Diego. Now Horan, of course, is the son of Tim Horan, the World Rugby Hall of Famer who repped Australia for over a decade with 80 caps. Horan most recently was over in Super Rugby with the Sunwolves. One of a couple of former Sunwolves now calling San Diego home as he comes on for Ma'a Nonu. Now I'm trying to do the math to see if Ma'a Nonu may have ever suited up against Tim Horan back in the day. I'm guessing they just barely miss each other. A stiff shot taken by Lerone White, the former Seawolf and Austin man. Baska trying to free it up for his teammates.
Good counter, right?
And what at most has been a bump in the road today facing Chicago now has slowly built to a mountain of a deficit. Meeks. Chicago playing with advantage. The offside call on San Diego.
High tackle too. Careful.
Well, how about some of the guys who have shined the brightest today, Mike Petrie?
There's been quite a number of bright spots around the field. For me right now, the front runner for this has got to be number 11 for San Diego, Nate Osberger. I think he's had a fantastic game. He's played really well on both sides of the ball for his team. There he is right there, running the ball back into play. But some other people that have stood out, I think that Brocky's had a good display in the midfield. Nanu's had a good display in the midfield. But Ben Grant in the engine room, number 4 for San Diego, has really stood out for me in their forward pack. And then Billy Meeks for Chicago has made quite a number of things happen, showing some of the class we saw in glimpses the past 2 seasons from the MLR back of the year.
Chicago with a great opportunity here, 5 meters out, and they give it away. Both sides struggling when it matters the most on the lineouts here in the second half.
Six, get out now, thank you.
Legion looking to put more pressure, and Chicago at this point just happy to take that ball into touch and slow things down.
See which way the arms go out, and Matina fumbles himself into touch. Picked the ball up, felt the pressure from Teo, and just rolls himself over the line. So San Diego, big turnaround from them. They go from right up against their own goal line to over midfield.
Saw big Chale Relala, who arrived late last season, the 6'5" Fijian. And there he is with this carry, finds, here's Daru. Now the big man trying to get on the action for San Diego. Apparently not a knock on there, but this one taken away. Well played by Mark O'Keefe with the discipline, but it's coming back.
And that is frustration there from O'Keefe. That was a nice play, came blitzing off his line, and he's just not happy, trying to plead his case to Cam Stone. Look at this, great read, knocks the ball up into the air, good presence of mind to just stay with the play, but it's coming back, and look at that, he's not psyched about that one.
Scrum scope, time off while we sort the injury. On the mark. Alexis, watch the mark.
It'll be a moment before we get back underway. Well, the starting lineup had enough fresh faces as it was. Now these reserves, even some more men who will play into presumably a playoff push with some added depth for San Diego.
Well played. all good, yes. We're just checking him out.
Again, Dakota Worth getting the start today. The flanker out of Indianapolis, former IU Hoosier.
So, you've got some subs here to size up. Thanks, Alexis.
Both of these sides have a little work to do on lineouts going into their next match.
And if you're San Diego, you'd be happy with the depth that you're starting to show right now. They're starting to come alive late in this game. And again, we talked about how important it is if you want to go the distance in this league and you want to lift that MLR shield at the end of this campaign, you got to go deep into your roster. You're looking into number 30, 34, 35, deep into that area. You need those players up and ready to play in the postseason.
Sam Perry, the former Arizona Wildcat, comes on to face his former team. He was with the Legion for 3 games in that first season back in 2018. Perry, wearing the number 20 for the Hounds now, has come on. So all 6 props have been replaced for this scrum. The same scrum half, Jason Higgins for San Diego. That clock on their side. Legion are going to wake up tomorrow right back atop the table. Oh, one-handed. Nate Augsburger. What a day. He's got a brace and has set up so many more.
And add 2 more to his name. He's been the MLR's leading try scorer coming into this weekend. We saw those stats before the game, and they're getting some padding now. But what a set-piece strike that was from San Diego. They're going to take a look at it to make sure there's no obstruction that time from Brocky. Without question, our TMO, Derek Summers, will have a look at it. So let's take a look at it here. You do see that Brocky gets in the way there of Meeks. He's on that outside shoulder, but the try will stand. He's entitled to his line. The difference between that one and the one that got called back earlier, we'll see. Well, actually, hang on a second. I think the difference between the 2 is where they make contact, but let's listen in.
Yep, Derek's coming. Now's not the time to chat about it, though. We'll chat about it after.
It was Augsburger who had one called back earlier. We have switched comms over to, again, a phone call here.
Can you give me some detail as to why that's clear obstruction? Ask him to give some detail why it's clear obstruction.
Cam, if you can hear me, he's taken out the outside shoulder. He's opened up a hole, and the player has run through it. He's not in position.
Okay, so make contact on the outside shoulder, stopping him coming across. Okay, great.
So Derek Summers is not as generous as you would be, Mike Country. I don't think that's going to define the outcome of this match, however.
No, it won't define the outcome of this match, but let's take a look at it again. So the pass goes out the back here, and Brocky runs to the outside shoulder of Billy Meeks. That's where the obstruction comes in. Meeks can't recover to make that play. So although there's not a lot of physical contact the way there was in the first time around, we saw a lot of body-on-body contact. Brocky ran straight through, but got in the way of Meeks to the outside shoulder, and that's a good call from our TMO there, Derek Summers.
So Chicago still in the conversation here. Again, they are guaranteed a point for the try bonus, 4 tries today. They're going to need everything to go their way to make that scoreline prettier. Mason Cook will lead this line out. This is an area where both teams have struggled now since swapping out their hookers. Another ambitious throw that they just cannot follow through with. Sears Daru able to win it back for San Diego.
No, it's not a ball, it's a tackle.
Hooley will send it back the other way.
Cleaver. You've got to be lifting. You can't just use your hand.
Well, it is going to be another weekend where Chicago has come oh so close to knocking off one of the better teams in Major League Rugby. But the result will be very similar. The difference is they will come away with a bonus point here today. San Diego is looking to add 5 points next to their name. in the Western Conference with the best mark overall in all of Major League Rugby at the halfway point of the season with 8 matches complete and 8 matches to go. And for Sam Harris, you just wonder what are the tweaks remaining. And at this point, like clockwork, a line-out turnover. It has plagued both teams here in the second half. Sit back and enjoy the moment. Tupou Afumia down to the 5-meter mark. Some open field running, and Chicago comes up with a stop in time and the turnover.
I'm not stopping the game at this moment.
And you've got hobbled players on both sides, including J.P. Eloff, who removed himself from the action, and the man who made that run, Afumia, will hitching his giddy up as well.
That was a great open field run and a good heads-up play to see that space over the top of the ruck from Afumia. Here he goes. Up straight through the middle, picks the ball up. Nobody at home. Baska was cheating across to that open side, but what a hustle from Eloff and Matina and Baska to all get back into position. And Eloff's the one that wrangles them to stop this scoreboard from just ticking over for San Diego.
J.P. Eloff, after being synonymous with the NOLA Gold, bit of a homecoming of sorts with the Hounds. From the former Chicago Lion, where he got his career started after college. Made that try-saving stop, winning the ball back for Chicago.
How are we going, guys?
Danny Lee and his staff are oh so close to being able to take in another winning meal. And all the while, 7 of his starters who earned that win up in Seattle at Starfire got some well-deserved rest here at the midway point of the season.
Right, let's go. Time on.
What coach wouldn't like to be able to secure a win and a bonus point without names like Pifoletti, Malolo, Ross, Poitevin? We remind you, after that 50th minute mark, it's the final half hour that has plagued Chicago as things have slipped away. They never trailed by more than a single score before that point. And the recap of tries for today just got a little longer.
And at this point, Chicago just took their foot off the gas. That was just missed tackle that time. Nothing special about it. There's plenty of Chicago jerseys on scene there. But 2 San Diego Legion players link up and work together to keep the fight alive, keep their legs driving, and find that try line.
I think Chris Bowman became the first player in Major League Rugby to be the one being dotted down by a teammate, as he traversed 8 yards, the last few in the arms of a fellow.
You gotta wait for the hooter, wait for the hooter.
Try pursuing Legion teammate.
Wait to time up if you're kicking it. Yeah.
And again, San Diego, this score is going to help put the punctuation on a 5-point day here at Snapdragon.
Anything we need to work on this
Week 9 of Major League Rugby is in the books. The San Diego Legion, after the first half of the season, are the class of Major League Rugby. And it's not just their starting 15 day in, day out. It's top to bottom. What a program they have built. Will this season end with that elusive first title in MLR?
And it took them a long time to do it, but eventually they get 46 points on the board to continue to inflate that 30 per game number. But this is our moment of the match. This game was back and forth till this line out gets turned over. And then Hooley, replacement wearing number 26, finds some real estate in the backfield and some hustle from Marani dots down with enough downward pressure to really start to pull away, and this is when things opened up, because right after the kickoff, San Diego scored right again, and the floodgates opened after that.
We will step aside. When we come back, a chance to chat with our player of the match and put a cap on Week 9 in MLR. Legion with a full 5 points today at home.